Hi everyone and welcome to this webinar about engineering science at University West. My name is Ebba Thorolsen and I work at the International Office here at University West. And with me I have Mikael Ericsson, Head of Division at our Engineering Science Department. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
And welcome everyone at home. We will start with our presentation by Mikael about Engineering Science Department here at University West and about Sweden in general. And while he's presenting, you're more than welcome to ask your questions in the chat. With me, we also have Maddie Hoffman, who works at the International Office here at University West. She will be able to answer some questions during the presentation, but after Mikael is done presenting, we will also have a Q&A session in the end. So welcome everyone again, and thank you, Mikael. Take us away.
Yeah, thank you very much for the kind introduction. And everyone, very welcome to this introduction to engineering science at our department here in Trollhättan and University West. Just to put Sweden in the context, I don't really know where you are, but Sweden is located in the north of Europe, located closely to Denmark, Norway, Finland and Iceland, so it's connected to Scandinavia. It's a very, very big country, but we have few people. By that I mean it's very long. It's we have lots of people living in south of Sweden, but not so many people living in the north part of Sweden. So it's sometimes you can travel quite far without seeing anything. Approximate 11 million people are living in Sweden. So it's very few people compared to other countries in Europe and in the world. So we are the fifth largest country in Europe. So it's a very big country, but it's a few people. But as I said, it makes it very nice and comfortable. If you're looking at Sweden, we speak Swedish. That is our native language and official language in the country. But we are also really good in English. We have more or less English as an official language, and we are taught English in school since we are young, at a young age. That means that if you're coming here to Sweden and you don't understand and can't speak Swedish, you have very easy to communicate with the Swedish citizens, because we are really happy to speak English to you. It's more of a problem, but we are too happy to speak it. But that means it's very easy for you to communicate and to get around inside the country. And in the classrooms and in the school, we are speaking more or less English with everyone that are coming outside Sweden. So that means that you don't really need to know any Swedish. If you're looking at Sweden, we have famous for many of our inventions and industry. I would like to highlight just a few, but we have Skype, we have Spotify, Volvo and Volvo cars. We have ABB, Scania, IKEA, Mojang and among others. So we have been very innovative in our developing of the countries or the industries. And connected to University West, we are working in close collaboration with several of these companies. If I look at University West, I can see that we are a very young university here in Sweden. We were founded in 1990, so we are more or less 35 years old. We are a government-funded university and are situated in Trollhättan. Trollhättan is a small town just north of Gothenburg. Gothenburg is the second largest city in Sweden, and we have in Gothenburg a big international airport called Landvetter, which makes it very easy to communicate through the more bigger hubs in Europe down to all countries in the world. Trollhättan is located close to Göta älv, or the Göta River, which is passing through the center of the city. The university and the city campus is located just a few minutes walk from this river, which makes it a very nice and cautious city. And especially during the summer, we have lots of tourists that are coming here and visiting us. The city itself consists of around 60,000 citizens, and it's a well-known destination for tourists during the summer. And we have maybe 50,000 to 60,000 students who are visiting the tourists that are coming here every year. In the end of August, we have also very big events connected to sports. It's a real sports hub here where we have large of national teams coming in here to doing roller skiing competitions among other races. So Trollhättan is a really nice city. We have walking distance to large areas with green areas, waterfalls, with the river, and it's really close to the university. I should say also on the previous slides that we had approximate 35 minutes ride with a train to Gothenburg. So it's really close to Gothenburg as well. So since Gothenburg also have the international airport, it's really easy to come and go to Trollhättan from the Gothenburg region. Gothenburg region is approximately 1 million citizens. So it's a quite large city compared to Trollhättan. If we're looking back to our university, we can see that we have around 15,000 students. These is students who are taking full programs, part programs, and just courses. And if we are combining this and put it to full-time equivalents, we have around 6,000 students that are studying at full-time at University West. The University West, the city campus, is located just 100 meters from the city square in Trollhättan. So it's really in the center of Trollhättan. It's just a few minutes walk to the train station. So it's really easy to come and go. And also that inside the city center we have lots of pubs, restaurants, and other needs for our students. When I'm looking at our campus, I can really see that when we started to build it, we rebuilt several other buildings 2010. And during that period, we put the student in the focus of the education and for the buildings. So it's lots of open spaces for the students and so on. One of the aims that we had when we built the campus is that it should be very easy for our students to meet and associate with our teachers and staff at the university. So we have large of common rooms, common restaurants and so on to really be together and coexist in these type of buildings. So the campus, as I said, is built for the student. You were in our focus when we were designing how it should look like. We have large area for the students where they can sit, be social, doing studies, and interact with both students and with other students and with teachers and staff. We have also lots of rooms for students to do group activities. We have kitchenettes for the students who are interested to bring their own dinner and to heat it and eat it at the university. And then we have 2 large restaurants for the students also for if you would like to buy your food instead to bring it to university. And these 2 restaurants are really nice, and they are also fairly cheap. But as I said before, we have a large restaurants also in the city if you would like to go out and have a dinner later in the evening or just taking your lunch in the town. If I look at or coming to other courses that we have at our Department of Engineering Science, we have 1 bachelor program that are taught fully in English. I will say that all these programs as a start is taught in English. So we have large group of international students coming in. We have large group on teachers that are from outside Sweden that are working here, and so all language, all the documentation and everything is taught in English. So we have one bachelor program. It's mechanical engineering, which is a 3-year program that starts in January, that are taught in English or on this bachelor program. Then we have a number of master programs that we are taught in as well. If I'm looking at the master programs, we can see that we have several of them that are connected to mechanical engineering or production systems, which is one of our large research areas. But then we also are focusing on electrical engineering and computer science. Several of these programs are taught in 1 year or 2 years version, so that means that you can enroll for the first year and then after time decide if you would like to take it in 1 or 2 years. Then we have some other that is just for 1 year as well. But it's also possible for 2 of this program to select to read it on full-time or part-time. And we have seen that, especially in the program called Robotics and Automation, we have a large group of interested students that are taking a part-time education just because they would like to have the opportunity to work on the side. The Robot and Automation program is one of the programs also that is fully taught. It's possible to select it to be taught in distance, so you don't need to move to Trollhättan. So we have several students that are taking this program from different parts of the countries. When it comes to our research area, we are doing research in the area of production technology, electrical engineering, and computer science. When it comes to production technology, that is one of our biggest research areas here at the University West. We are running more than 90 collaborative research projects here, where we have collaboration with industry together with us academics. We also having lots of students interacting in these programs. Our focus in production technology runs within thermal spray, welding, flexible industrial automation, and additive manufacturing. Additive manufacturing is today the largest research area that we're doing within production technology. Main partners in this group is Volvo, Volvo Group, and Volvo Cars. We have GKN Aerospace that are situated here in Trollhättan, and is a company that are producing specialized aerospace components. And actually we can find in all aeroplanes that are up and flying, 95% of all engines have parts from Trollhättan. So they are really specialized and really up and flying with the technologies. Except that, we're also working with several companies that are producing material like Uddeholm and so on. And we have both projects that are connected to the industry here in Trollhättan or in the neighborhood, in the whole Sweden, but also in the Europe. When I'm looking at 2 other groups that are doing research at the department, we have electrical engineering, where we are running more than 20 research projects in collaboration with industry. Here the focus is both for electrical power, but also for the electrical drive lines. The electrical power is focused on using sustainable methods to build new electric power system, water power. We are working with solar energy and wind power and so on. And we have a really big collaboration with one of the main water power companies in Trollhättan called Vattenfall. Vattenfall was originally started here in Trollhättan 400 years ago. When looked into electric drive lines, we are more collaborating with car companies. We have Polestar, Volvo Cars, etc., where we are working together in developing the electrical vehicles. Here we're both looking at the driveline, but also for the battery technologies, and jointly try to get this to get a new or more efficient way to drive the cars. And in computer science, which is the third research group that we have at the department, we are running more than 10 collaborative projects in emerging technologies, interaction technologies. We're looking at AI and cybersecurity as the main focus. In these emerging technologies, we are focusing on how to interact with the humans. We have human and cyber interaction or computer interactions. Understanding how the humans is interacting with each other. We're also looking into things like in digitalization of industry, Industry 4.0, Industry 5.0, where we're using different type of internet and electrical devices to collect information and share information, and then to analyze it and predict what will happen. In the cybersecurity, it's working closely in collaboration with Cisco, which is a large American company that are developing infrastructure for networking. So in total, we are running more than 120 collaborating projects in the university or at our department, where we have a strong link and strong collaboration with the industry. So we can see that for the students that I think you are interested in, we have you as a part in this collaboration. You will participate in different type of collaborations, project works, thesis work, and so on, in joint collaboration with the industry in the region of Trollhättan. The funding that we get from all these research activities is either region-based or national-based or European funding that we are applying for. If we're looking at the type of equipment we have built a strong collaborations within all these three research domains that we have. We are in the production technology doing lots of student activities, both at the lab at campus, but also in a lab that we have together with industry called Production Technology Center. In Production Technology Center, we are working in joint collaboration with the industry. We have our own equipment, the companies have their own equipment, but we are sharing the work area, we are sharing the equipment, and the staff from the university, the staff from the company are interacting, and we have you as the students in the middle here. So it's a very nice area to collaborate and meet future employees and to talk to people that are working in reality and people that are working as researchers. So most of our programs are done at this research center. When we are in the process to build up a second research center called Stallbacka campus, where we have more focusing on the electrical power and the electrical vehicle research, where we are sitting in a similar context where we have car companies, we have our researchers sharing the same type of work area, we have our own equipment and so on, but we have exchange between the students, we have exchange between the researcher and the industry. So it's a really nice hub also here. And the third, computer science, we are also building up labs and have labs for this. We have large computer labs for cybersecurity and to get an understanding about this. We have lab for emergency interaction technologies, where we have lots of virtual reality equipment or augmented reality equipment and other similar equipment. So looking at this, we can see that the equipment that we have, research facilities and collaboration environment that we have gives you as a student a really, really nice study environment here in Trollhättan. It's also a very good future place to be, to find and to have a good future career in Trollhättan or around Trollhättan, or when you're moving back home to your home country, because you really meet the industry in joint collaboration with education. Besides here, what we see is another type of equipment that we have, but it's just pointing on that we have the idea of working in the real equipment, in the real environment, in joint collaboration with the industry. Finally, I would really like to say that I hope both that you think that seminar has been very interesting. I hope that you send all your questions so we can answer it here. But I really would like to say welcome to Trollhättan by showing these pictures from the waterfall that are in less than 10 minutes walk from the city campus. Trollhättan is an amazing city, both in the summer but also in the winter. So, very welcome to Trollhättan next year.
Thank you so much, Mikael.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna... Just gonna find the questions.
Yeah.
So, as I mentioned, Maddie is with us behind the scenes answering any questions that me and Mikael aren't experts in. But if you have any questions, please ask them in the chat. And in the meanwhile, I just want to ask you a couple of questions. Of course, I have prepared some. So when it comes to the study environment and student environment, we usually in Sweden emphasize that it's very informal here in Sweden, if you compare it to many other parts of the world. Would you agree, and how would you describe the study environment in relation to hierarchy and stuff like that?
Yes, put it in this context. Yes, it's very informal. Of course, we are polite cities. You say hello, but you don't say always hello, professor, or address. I'm not addressed as professor. I just address with my first name, so it's very informal. If it comes to say production technology center, where the students are sharing the same coffee room as the staff. Also very informal. That means that the students can come, sit down, and suddenly sitting down to the professor, discussing very informal what we're doing today, the weather. Sweden love to discuss the weather. Or it can be also that we have one thing that is very special for Sweden, which is fika.
Yes.
Fika is a very informal way to drink coffee. So, we are very informal, and we are very open to discuss things with each other. Yeah.
So we got a question regarding the actual difference between master's programs and bachelor's programs.
Yeah. So the bachelor program, you are starting your education at university. So in Sweden, we are following the Bologna system. That means that you're doing a bachelor education first. And then you can either go out to work in the industry or in whatever area you're directed to or interested in, or you can do built on 2 years on the master programs. So that means that a master program means that you have 5 years education at university. The difference between a 1 year master program and 2 year master program is that the 2 years gives you a very sharp edge, and ideally the 1 year broaden your education a little bit. You get a little bit more than just the 3 years. So you can be, say that you have one bachelor in mechanical engineering, and then you can have a broader aspect to be 1 year in robot and automation.
Yeah.
But if you take in the 2 year, you get a really sharp education in the robotics and automation. So it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Then, of course, in the Bologna system, you have 3 years for a bachelor, 2 years as a master, and then you can build that on with a PhD. So all our master programs are prepared to be doing research and apply for master programs.
Yeah.
Today, University West has 2 rights to give a diploma for a PhD. It's in production technology, and it is in work integrated learning. But for both computer science and for electrical engineering, we have collaboration with different universities, so we can employ and enroll PhD students at our university, but we are linking them to another university. Electrical engineering, for example, linked to Uppsala University. So that means that we are employed here, but get an education from Uppsala.
Yeah. Okay, I think that was good, really good breakdown. And I also want to mention that if you feel like you aren't getting the answers to the questions you are asking, we also, of course, are available by email. So you can either send us an email via the email address there, or you can scan the QR code and come to a contact page. If you feel like you need a more detailed answer, or if you have any specific answers you need that you didn't get. But also regarding the study environment, you mentioned that it's very international. We both have a lot of international students here, but also staff. In what way would you say that affects like the study environment and the benefits of actually studying in such an international environment?
I mean, in Sweden we are today talking about internationalization at home. And if I'm looking at the staff at my department, we are approximately 150 teachers and staff. And we have approximately 30 different nationalities. That means that if you're coming here, you will face a lot of different nationalities. The teachers has a little bit different backgrounds. We have experience from different universities, but also from different work environments. And of course, it's a big difference if from Sweden, they are talking about the industry in Sweden, but it gives the students an extra insight or knowledge if we have 5 other teachers coming and presenting how the industry are from India, how the industry in Africa, how it's in German, and so on. And then we can combine and discuss and share the knowledge, and also to give the students better preparation, because we are not working just in the region, we are working global as a year. So it gives much more benefits.
Yeah. And also I saw there was a question regarding when the next bachelor's program enrollment is. So many of our master's programs are open for application now, and then you will start in August next year. And the bachelor program, the application for that opens in summer. So that next start of that semester is in January 2026. Time moves really fast, but so that's the bachelor program you can apply to in the summer. So now master's programs are open for applications. So how large are our classes approximately?
It depends a little bit on what direction you have. We have everything from smaller, like 10 to 15 students, up to some classes that are maybe up to 100 students. So it depends a little bit on what type of program you're following, and also depending on if we are co-reading with our students. So take robot and automation and AI and automation. We are sharing the same courses in the beginning, the first semester, and then we are separated in different directions. But that means that, of course, that is bigger classes. So. In our class, we can have much less.
So I see we also got a question regarding the bachelors in mechanical engineering and also maybe the masters. So any of the 3 core research areas you mentioned, what is the connection between those specific programs and the research areas?
So we have Can you take the question again? Sorry.
Yeah. So mechanical, if you want to study international mechanical engineering, so the bachelor program, how does the research connection become, how does the research connect to the bachelor's education?
Yeah. So lots of the teachers that are doing research are connected to the bachelor programs. So in the same way that we are bringing examples from the industry into the bachelor, we're also bringing examples from research. So some of the examples that the students doing or the project the students are doing are linked to real case in the industry, but also linked to the research. So the mechanical engineering are connected to all research that we are doing in production technology. But some of them courses is also linked to the research that we're doing in computer science or to the electric engineering, because we have similar concept. I mean, we can do, say, research project where we are looking into remanufacturing of a car battery. It is, of course, highly linked to the electrical engineering area. But if you're using robot or automation equipment to do the assembly, then it's, of course, also linked to the mechanical engineering. So many students or groups are coming in connection to the research areas.
Yeah, so the research really has a part of all the programs.
All programs. And they are working really hard to both connect the research to the education, also, and as well as connect the education to the research. And we are doing that in different ways. Project and thesis work is some examples, but also having discussions, seminars, and so on, reading articles, and talk about what we are doing. So.
Yeah. So I saw there was a question also regarding when, if you have applied to a program already, when you will get notice. So the application closes in the middle of January, and then you need to send in the needed documents in the beginning of February, and then in the end of March, beginning of April, you will know if you got admitted to a program. And there's also a question regarding visiting the uni. So we have open days, but not specifically for international students. But if you are happening to be in Trollhättan or you're planning to come to campus, please contact us via the email address, and we can absolutely find a way for you to have a tour and meet potential professors and get to know campus before you actually arrive. Swedish lectures, I feel like, also separate themselves a bit compared to many international students that have previous education. So is there any way to describe the typical lecture? Is there as such as a typical lecture?
I don't... We are, yeah, I mean, it's hard to say, but I mean, we of course, since it's very informal behavior between the teacher and student, it's quite friendly environment. It is very open for discussions. It's open for asking questions. It's come have your own ideas, to criticize the teacher. I mean, not criticize saying that you are speaking a bad language or you are so, but I mean to have your own opinion about what I think we should do it in this way instead, and then we can have an argument and discussion which is the best way to go. And some of our students, they have long work experience, so it is really to get that working experience in that case to but to have that discussion, because it benefits me, benefits the students that discuss with, but it also benefits the rest of the students to understand that we are really value informal knowledge of your work experience, because that is for us very important.
And it's like focus on learning on actually getting the thought right and critical thinking, and not only, you know, being fed what you should know, actually developing the own thoughts on your own.
Exactly. So the discussion is fairly important. And I think I, as a teacher, is quite open for that type of discussions. And another thing that's in some countries, we know that the students are evaluated due to the question they're asking. We are evaluated if they are asking the wrong question, they got wrong marks and so on. We are not doing that.
No.
So in that way, it's a very friendly discussion, because I'm not in a bad situation. I will not criticize the student because they are asking maybe stupid questions. So
Exactly. That's a really good point. So we at University West have a profile called Work Integrated Learning. So what does that mean to you? How do you interpret that in regards to...
For us at Engineering Science, we have programs that are using industrial placement as a part of the course. We have something that is students that are going out for working in the industry, but in the same time they have learning outcomes from that placement. We have something called corporate education, that mainly for bachelor programs, but in that time where students is out working in the industry for longer periods and then coming back, continue the education, go back to the industry, coming back and so on. So that is one thing, but then the other thing is to integrate the industry or the work experience in our courses. It can be seminars, guest lectures, real industrial projects, short projects from the industry that they have an urgent need, and our students are supporting the companies by solving this with new thinking, not just being consultants, but to integrate new learning and new theory and so on.
How would you say this affects the students' possibility to get a job after their graduation?
I think it's affect them in a positive way. If we are looking at the university, we are evaluating in different ways, and one survey that is very positive is when we're looking at the student, how many students get to work within 6 months after their education in the correct area of their degree. And University West is in top 3 all the years in this ranking in Sweden. So I think it benefits our students in a really positive way, because they got to work after their education in their desired field.
So we also got a question about pattern of exam. Is there different type of exams, and how is the students actually evaluated during their education?
So typical class or teaching, they are evaluated in elaborations, in projects, and written exams. If you're starting project elaboration, that is normally pass and fail. You're doing the work, maybe you have to write some summary or report about it, but you are evaluated on that. Similar to the projects, you are evaluated on your report and the presentation on describing what you have done. And then we have these written exams. Normally it's written exams in the classroom or home exams, but it's some type of written context. It can be a mixture between, if you take an open exam, by quizzes and writing down. So, and a few courses also have oral presentations. So it is a combination between passing mandatory subjects during the course and then have some type of summary examination in the end.
So different types.
Different types, and it's a little bit different between different courses and different subjects, how you are doing this.
So we got a question about working part-time. So I can say in general, the studies in Sweden are expected to take about 40 hours a week. There's a lot of independent studies. So how often do we actually, can you say something in general, how often is classes of those 40 hours?
About that 40 hours, a little bit depending on the level you are, but it can be everything from 10 to 20 hours. And maybe you have 10 hours of theory each week, but then maybe you have 10 hours by elaboration work. It can look like quite a lot of time in the timetable, but it's allocated for different groups. because we can't run 100 students at the same labs. So we are splitting the labs in the students in different groups. So I think based on that, we are assuming that we have activities for around 20-25 hours a week at university, meeting with students and so on, with the teachers. Most of the time it's not mandatory. So actually, if you feel very comfortable in the area, you can, of course, do something else.
Yeah.
It's just mandatory parts of such elaboration that you have to be in the school or the examination.
Yeah.
So coming to, I agree with you, we accept at least 40 hours full-time studies at university.
Yeah.
But it can be home studies as well.
Yes.
We have several students that are working part-time in a bar, a restaurant, delivering mail, whatever. But we normally don't recommend to do that if you are doing a full-time studies. That's one of the reasons why we have the robot and automation program at part-time. Because in that case, instead of having 2 courses or full-time studies, we have part-time studies. That means that they can work more, work easier.
Yeah. Yes.
So, but for full-time studies, not really recommended.
Possible, but not recommended.
It's possible, absolutely, depending on the student and what they are doing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And language courses, I see we also got a question regarding that. So we offer basic Swedish courses for all our international students here at University West, which is a great benefit, even though, as you mentioned in the presentation, you don't usually actually need to know the Swedish language to get around in society. It's a huge benefit when applying for jobs afterwards to know the basics and to get. It's a good way to get started with learning the language and maybe kickstart your own learning journey with the language. So it's a great benefit.
And also adding to that, I mean, of course, we speak a lot of English when we have you sitting next to us.
Yeah.
But from time to time, we are stuck in a Swedish conversation. If you know Swedish, you will of course be more integrated.
Yeah.
So it's also of course it's good to learn it.
Yeah. So we offer it because it has great benefits for all international students. And when it comes to work visa, after you graduated, you can apply for an additional 12 years visa to search for months. Oh yeah, not 12 years. That a bit excessive. 12 months. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, and I really see that it's a benefit for our students because we have many students that are coming here to Sweden, getting the master, and then they're starting to settle down here in the region. And it's, of course, benefiting for Sweden that they are staying here. They get a good education, and then they are starting to work in Swedish companies and so on. So it's really nice to have that option.
Yeah. Yes, so let's see. I saw we have a question regarding student satisfaction. We don't actually, do you know any? We have some surveys regarding student satisfaction, but I don't really know any numbers specifically. You have more informal maybe ways to...
Yeah, we are doing evaluation of all programs or courses or during the time that we are studying here. And of course we have ups and downs. We should be honest about that. But on general, on the program level, the students are very satisfied. And then, depending on your background and so on, you can of course have difference in different subjects that you feel that this is not so important, or the opposite. This is really important, and so on. But general, if you're looking at the student satisfaction, they are very happy with education. And I think it's also important to look at it from the industry point of view. And since all students get employment afterwards within 6 months, I think that is a very good grade on how good education is. Because if the student don't get any work, that means that the education is bad or we have a bad repetition.
Yeah.
But here it's really the student get the work after the education.
Yeah, that's a great point. So we got a question regarding PhD positions. So can you say in general, how does applying for PhD positions work in Sweden? And
first, you have to finish your master. That's
2 years master's.
Something between 2 and 1 year master is okay, but ideally, you are evaluated against 2 years master.
Okay.
So we recommend 2-year master. But when at University West, we are searching funding from different type of funders. As I talked about in our research, there is collaborating projects. In this project, we get funds for hiring PhD students. When we get this position secure or the project approved, we are advertising for students. So it's an open competition about students. We don't know. We are selecting the best candidate in an open evaluation of the students.
So it's like applying for a job pretty much.
Yeah, it's actually a good comparison.
Yeah. So when a position is available, we post it.
Yeah.
And is PhD positions paid?
Yes, it's paid. So we are employing the PhD student. We are considered as a staff, but we're doing research in their time. So normally a PhD position is 20% duties at the department. Can be teaching, student supervision, elaborations and so on. And 80% is research and doing your education.
Yeah.
And the PhD student education in Sweden is 4 years. And it involves approximately 1-year courses on PhD student level. So it's 3 years research, 1-year courses. But then since most of the students has this 20% of other things, the education tends to be 5 years.
Okay, that's good.
But it's 5 years, and it's compared to many places in Europe, very well paid positions.
Yeah. So let's talk a bit about Trollhättan.
Yeah.
So you're from here.
Yes.
You've lived in Trollhättan all your life?
Yeah.
So how do you like it?
I still live in Trollhättan.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have lived here except for a year where I did my master in UK. So otherwise I've been here for all my life. Taking my bachelor from this university. I was working as a PhD student here, but I was signed into university down at Lund, at Lund Technical University. So hours I've been here, and after I graduated, I've been working here as well.
Yeah. So compared to many other cities out in the world, as you mentioned, it's quite a small town.
Yeah.
But how would you describe the environment, both nature and town, and the people here?
Trollhättan, as many other Swedish cities, are very welcoming. The citizens are very polite and happy to speak and to meet new people. The environment here is, in Sweden as general, is very green, very clean. The air is very good. The water, you can drink it more or less from the river. So it's a very clean environment in Sweden. If I'm looking at Trollhättan, compared to many other cities, I mean, we have the river. It's passed through the city center. And it is really a river. We have large cargo coming up and going down. And during the summer, we have loads of yachts and private sailors going up and down. So it's a very nice environment.
Yeah, and we usually call it like a 15-minute city, right?
Yeah.
You have everything you need within 50 minutes by bike or public transport.
Yeah.
So university, accommodation, shops, supermarkets, your friend, and nature, of course, restaurants. Yeah. So it's the biggest difference, I think, with a lot of bigger cities. And you have everything within pretty much walking distance.
Yeah. So if you're liking running, for example, and you would like to go out running in a forest, it's 5 minutes from the campus out to the forest, and then you can run for quite a long time before you coming to the next town and so on. So it's very green and open environment.
Yeah. And even though it's quite a small city, that may sound to some that it's quite dead and not so international and not so many companies here. Yeah. But how would you describe the actual working life here in Trollhättan?
The working life is today very dependent on GKN Aerospace.
Yeah.
GKN Aerospace is, however, one very big company with very high technology development, and they are expanding, building new factories, building new things based on the research and collaboration that they have with university. So we have been part of developing their additive manufacturing systems and so on, and now we are building a complete new factory to bring this new technology that university have been part of into the factory and get that to aerospace parts that going up and flying. So based on we have this big company within 10 minutes from university, or sitting at the same building at PTC. We have around down in Gothenburg, 35 minutes. We have industry that are Volvo cars. So we have large companies close by. So, I mean, it's a really nice working environment to do that. And of course, GKN Aerospace in Trollhättan is bringing up small and medium-sized enterprises. So we have lots of small companies around here. Yeah. So it's a good working environment.
And we also have the part of the city called Innovatum Science Park. Can you tell me a bit about that?
Yeah, so Innovatum Science Park is an area that we have innovative companies that are starting up. So startup companies. They have facilities to support companies with office, group printers and so on, supporting with technologies, supporting with knowledge, how to start your companies. So that is one part of this Innovatum Science. But then we have also, it's an old factory area from one of the earliest companies in Sweden, where they now have around 50 different companies, not so much in the manufacturing area, but more as a consultants, but into consultants supporting manufacturing companies. Yeah. So it's lots of companies down there that are supporting the region with the competencies.
Yeah. So do you, it's a private question, but do you have children, and have you brought up children here in Trollhättan?
Yeah, I have 2 children.
Yeah.
There are lots of children anymore. One is 19, that study at the university here.
That's good.
And the younger one moved up to Älvdalen to do some more adventure gymnasium. So she will be adventure guide.
Ah, that's exciting.
So she's moved away. But yes, they have been taking all the courses or all the schools up to gymnasium here in Trollhättan.
That's nice. So how would you say so we got a question about child welfare here in Trollhättan. How has that been?
For me, it has been really good. My son was a little bit sick during some years, and we got excellent support about that. We have a really good health care for children. We had a hospital in Trollhättan that is really close to the city center. It's 50 minutes by bus. So it's, I mean, we have everything for a good childhood.
Yeah.
So for me, it was working, or for us, it was working really good.
And I would also say in general, it's very safe here in Trollhättan. It's a very safe environment.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you have traveled a lot. Even though you lived in Trollhättan all your life, you travel a lot for work, been to many parts of the world. What would you say sets Sweden and Trollhättan apart?
I mean, it sets a little bit about the study environment, I would say. It's modern. It's some of the equipment is really top of the art. Looking at we have an idea about we should use the same equipment as the industry. So that means that we have good equipment. Then the friendliness or the interaction between the staff, the teachers and the students is very open, very polite, not so formal as we talked about before. And then I think the environment is really clean and then it is very safe.
Yeah. that's good points.
So I think that is what characterizes us
Yeah.
in that way.
So we got a question about how many international students in regards to the total. So we usually say around 5.5 to 6,000 students on campus, where around 300 to 400 of those are international.
Yeah. And if you're looking at the master programs, we will say that we have say we have 50 students, then 30 of these students are coming from abroad, and 10 students are coming from Sweden.
Yeah.
So in the master programs, we have large international group of students, but it's not that we have all these 40 students coming from the same country. They are coming from all over the world, maybe 5 maximum from the same type of country.
Yeah. So some of you guys at home might be a bit scared that we're coming into winter here now. This might be a very different time if you're from a warmer country. What do you feel about this? Okay, so
I can take this first.
Yeah.
I mean, we are now approaching winter.
Yes.
Last year we had minus 20 degrees. It was, from my point of view, it was lovely. I like winter.
Yeah.
Best part of the year is maybe February, March, when we have loads of snow. It starts to get a little bit warmer. We get the sunshine. We get almost the spring.
Yeah.
But still have the snow, longer days, but still have the coldness. So I love that. But we have students that feel that this is dark now and so on, but most of them are really happy to be here because it's a new experience, a new life. Because in December, the sun is maybe showing up 9 to 3 o'clock during the daytime, and then it's dark.
Yes.
Some students are going to the north of Sweden, where the student union are organizing different activities. But in the winter, it's an activity to go there in December. And in December, in north part of Sweden, you don't see the sun. So for them, it's a real nice experience to be in a region that it's dark.
Yeah,
but
it's true winter.
Yeah, it's true winter. It's minus 30, but it's not. It's not dark because you have ambient light from the snow and so on. So you can see, of course, quite well.
Yeah.
And then you can see the northern light and things like that. So it's a wonderful experience for the students to go up there.
And it's also warm inside. That's a big part. So in Sweden, all the houses have great isolation. So you won't need to have any specific clothes inside.
No, but it's just look at us now. I mean,
it's around 0 degrees here in Sweden now.
Yeah, so it's not no problem indoors.
Exactly.
And if you just have a correct clothes, it's of course no problem outside either.
Yeah.
But I saw that we got a following up question about the international at our master programs and how many international students we have. It's the same for the international bachelor program in mechanics as well.
Yes.
We have quite a lot of international students, but we also have a number of students that are coming from Sweden, but with an international background.
Yeah.
So they have been living in Sweden for a couple of years, but they are maybe not as good in Swedish, so they prefer to have an education in English instead.
Yeah. So with that, I think that needed to be our last question for today. So thank you so much, Mikael, first of all, for being here. And to all you guys there in the chat for all your questions and for listening. And once again, if you feel like you didn't get the answers you needed, please ask us your questions on email or via the form you can find by the QR code there. So thank you so much. Have a great day or night wherever you are, and hope to see you back in Sweden here soon.
Yeah, so thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.